Okay, so I'm doing a different video of I'm doing a redo of the skin one because I came to some problems, so I'm just gonna redo it. And so what I want to do is I'm just gonna quickly go in here and let's just turn down the music a little bit. Okay, great. And I'm gonna quickly go in here and I'm gonna bind. So I go to skin, bind skin, and I found some weird problem with the geodesic voxel, which I decided to avoid, so I'm avoiding that for now. Got joint hierarchy and the body selected. The drop-off rate of 4, I seem to not mind that too much. I might reduce the maximum influences to 3. I find this drop-off here works really well for the torso, and then I have to do more weighting in the arms and legs. But if you don't do this, if you put it up higher, you'll find that this is hard to weight. This is easy. So I go for the easy bit. So I'm going to hit bind skin. And so let's just take a look and see what happened. Boop. Okay, when I do that, we get some geometry that's moving over here, but that's okay. We can do some quick weighting. And so with the legs here, let's just go in and quickly grab the geometry, and I'm just going to hit the Paint Skin Weights tool. What I do is I right-clicked and I went to Paint Skin Weights tool. And then if you want to, if you got all your bones named really well, your life is going to be good, right? Easy to find things. There's my clavicle. Let's just start down here with the legs. And I always typically do the left side, okay? And if you start at the base and work your way up, your life is easier. So the ball of the foot, okay, it's looking kind of soft, that's good. And I typically like to use add. I always skip between add and smooth. I never really use replace, okay? And that's just my way of doing things. And we'll just go in here and add. Okay, I didn't do anything funny. Remember, if the tool doesn't really work for you, a really good thing to do is just hit reset tool and see what's gonna see if it'll work. And also, too, you shouldn't have any history aside from the skin cluster and the tweak node here. What did I just do? Uh-oh. Right click, object mode. Uh-oh, did I just... There we go, get back to the tool, great. I clicked on the channel box up here and did something funky, I don't know what. So, just making sure the heel is really firm with the bone here and the ball of the foot and everything like that. And the heel is that one shape that looks kind of funny if it deforms too much. I could do such a better job on this model, but I'm just trying to go fast. Okay, great. And I might even go in here and use a little bit of smooth action right in here. Okay. Okay, and as I go up the leg, and because I went back to the tool, this is one annoying little thing. It always closes these stupid things down again, which is annoying. But whatever. You might find if that's annoying to you. Just one second, what was selected? That's the ball of the foot. And there's the ankle joint. Actually, what I meant to do is put all this stuff on the ankle. Okay. I am smoking crack. We'll go back to add. I meant to add this to the ankle. Okay, and boop. La la la. Going quick, 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 quick. And okay, I'm just making it all white right here. And then when I get to around here, that's when I'll grab the ankle and we can switch to the smooth. Okay, and I should probably go ahead and rotate the joint and see how that's working. And smooth, smooth, smooth. Let's just see. If I go back to the rotate tool, grab this joint, and I start to rotate it. Okay, it looks like some of that could maybe come back a bit to the the shin area here. The knee joint should probably influence some of that stuff up here. So, actually, let's just go back to assume preferred angle, and I'll just hit this. And so if I go, oh, you bastard! This is why you don't want to actually go and click out of here too often. But I will point out a trick because this menu here is kind of annoying, right? If you right click, you can go into select influence right here while you're painting weight. So right over top of the joint that you want, select influence and it'll flip to it. So you don't really need to go running up and down that list all the time, which I find, like I said, annoying. And if I go to smooth here, if I'm smoothing with the knee selected, I can kind of get back some of this stuff that I've taken away, and it'll give it a smoother transition. Okay, something like that. And then I'll go back to add, and I'm just going to make sure this whole area here, I want that added to the knee joint. Okay, it should be firm. And then it's going to be soft in the back, and we'll smooth that down in a second. And again, if I had toes, I probably would have done them first, but I'm trying not to do too many crazy things, like too many toe actions. Okay, great. Smooth. And then I can come in here and I'll kind of paint. Is my smooth, the opacity sitting at 1? Okay, great. Just going to do something like this. And then if I switch and I go to the hip, though, notice when I do smooth, it's going to bring back some of this. Okay, so it gives my knee a little bit of flexibility. And I should do some tests in a moment and see what it looks like. Actually, make my brush bigger when I paint the smooth and see if that helps. Okay, but remember the smooth is the devil. Okay, when I grab that joint there, boop. Actually, that doesn't look too bad there at all. A little bit firmer up here in the thigh. Okay, so I'm just going to go to my thigh bone. And again, I'm not going to go to that freaking list again, so I'm going to go to select influence, and when I'm on smooth, switch to add. Actually, while I'm thinking about this, another quick trick is if you hold down U and you left click, you can go to add and smooth, so you can flip there, so you don't have to even have this freaking menu open. Okay, maybe a little bit for some things, but here we're just going to go in here. Okay, I try to add some of this into the hip area here. That might be a little bit weird, but we'll go with it, and then I'll switch to smooth. And actually, did I grab the hip or the pelvis? Yeah, we'll have to go with the hip in this area here. Okay, great. That's nice and smooth. And then up here, let's go to the pelvis and see if we can paint in some. And right up there, I did something stupid. I'll try and get rid of that in a second. Actually, fast way to get rid of that. Okay, I could go hunting around for it, but I actually know that it's... I know there's a couple of them right here. So if I go in and I grab them, and they were blue, right? If you just go under skin, there's a thing called hammer skin weights. And let's go back and take a look at it now when I go back to this. There, that's gone. So you can just grab a few vertices and it'll average out based on the vertices around it. So that's nice and quick. Let's grab this joint here and see how that's working. Okay, and so you can see this thigh, or the hip bone is influencing this area. This don't look right. So I'm just going to come in and I'm going to, let's grab our pelvis joint, and I'm going to use a bit of add. And when I use add, it's going to subtract it away from the hip joint. Okay. And I get some of my butt back. Okay, great. And then I'm just going to go back to smooth. And I can see that this isn't working quite right, so I'm just going to go in here and smooth that back a bit. Blend them a little bit. And hopefully they're blending well. Okay. A little bit of thigh in here is not bad. But it's got to be very minute, and I'll just see what happens when I move that around. Okay, cool. So that's not looking too bad. My crotch here could be maybe a little bit more weighted to this and to the pelvis joint. So I might just go in here and I'll see, what did I just do? I don't know what I have selected here. And I did a bad thing. I hit undo. I find that when you're painting weights, when you hit undo, that's when you're going to crash. Okay. Remember, I can come back here and correct my weights at any time. So if I find some weighting issue later on while I'm animating or anything like that, I can totally come back and fix it. Here, I'm going to go back to smooth. Make my brush bigger. Oh, you bastard. Okay, something's not happy with me there, so I'm going to flip to the hip. Okay, and that feels better to me. I'm also doing the hip without doing really fancy joints in here. There's some fancy things, I don't know if I want to call them fancy, but some kind of standard things I should be thinking about. But this is your first character rig, so let's keep that simple. And assume preferred angle. I'm not going to go and do the arm through this whole thing. I do find I'd work through each one of these fingers and then work through the back. Actually, maybe I should do a little bit of arm just to show you something different. Okay, so what I'm going to do, here, let's bring this down a little bit so you can see what I'm poking at up here. When I'm doing the fingers, I find it faster. Instead of painting can kind of suck. And overall, when I'm painting, or when I'm doing weighting, I don't tend to paint. I tend to go into this thing called the component editor. And if I'm in the component editor and I want to do the fingers, I go over and there's the smooth skin section. If I select my mesh, and there's a button here for component mode, select by component type. Okay, and that takes me into component mode, and I can start to select components. And also I don't have to worry about selecting bones while I'm doing this. So I'm just going to grab some of these bones here and I'm just going to hit F. And if I grab the tip of my middle finger, and I'm just going to grow the selection, and I'll just hit G. So this little section here should be weighted pretty much 100% to that joint right there. And that joint is right click, it says the name right here, L mid 3. Okay, so if I look for L mid 3 and I just go like this and drag down and I type in 1, whoop, there's 100% on that one joint. And maybe I go and I look at, say, this section right here. Let's grab this one. I'll grab that loop. I just selected that one, held down shift and double clicked on it, got my vertice loop, and then if I grow my selection, okay, I got 2 loops. And if I take this is going to be L mid 2, and I'm just going to go 1. And then let's just see what happens when I grab these ones here. So I grab that loop, and between L mid 2 and L mid 3, that should be about 50-50 on those two. L mid 4 has some on here. I'm just going to hit 0. That subtracts it. The ring finger, for some reason, has some on it. I'm just going to get rid of that. And there you go. Let's just take a look and make sure I'm not lying to you. If I go in here and I right-click, I can go to Object Mode. And there. And if you're not really happy with the deformations you're getting out of it, let's put on wireframe unshaded so you can kind of see. You can always just go and quickly grab a few vertices, like say we know that these 2 vertices here, these 3, those should have a bit of a softer weight. They should kind of get to this joint here, and it says those are 100%, so maybe actually if I do this trick, I'm just going to select this one vertice so that shows my column for L mid 3. If I highlight them, I have a little slider here and I can see them in real time coming back. Okay, and maybe even these 3 right there. Oh damn it, I'm not in component mode anymore. Okay, grab those 3, and then I just bring this one in and just leave that one alone. This says 50-50 there, leave that alone. Take these and highlight and drag, and you can see it in real time. That looks nice and soft. Okay, and that's the quick. Here, and I'll just hit F8, and F8 toggles me back here, and we'll take a look and see how that deforms. So that finger is looking pretty good. A little bit of crash down there isn't too bad. But I'm going to do that through the whole fingers, and that's going to take a little while, so let's do something else. And also, if I go to the head, I want to weight the head. If I'm going in here and grabbing vertices, or like if I try painting the head, it takes a little while, so I'm going to try this with a different technique. We can go to component mode, and I'm just going to try to grab all the vertices of the head. Okay, and I might do something like, let's go grow the selection. I'll hit G till I get total loopage there. Okay, and then I'm just going to shrink the selection. Hold down Control, shrink selection. And as long as I don't have any holes in my mouth or eyes or anything like that, this should work. Let's get right to there. All those vertices are selected. And if I go to the Paint Skin Weights tool, and I right click and I select the, oh, it's giving me the wrong thing. I want it to be right over the joint, select, there we go, boop, select the joint, so it's giving me the head right here. And if I go to add, and I just, with all these vertices selected, I hit the flood button, boop, it's all weighted 100%. So I don't have to do a lot of work on that. And then I can start to go back to object mode, grab this, go to the paint skin weights tool, and maybe I'll go into the neck. Actually, by the way, something else too I've noticed here, when I right click and I go select influence over top of the joints, it immediately highlights them, brings you right to the spot over here, so that's good. Good. And then I can come in here and I can maybe grab this joint and do a little bit of smoothing around the edges here so it looks softer. And I should probably bend his neck around while I'm doing this just so that I get a good vibe for what I'm getting. Bend his neck around, wring his neck. Okay, so I can see that's too stiff and not picking up enough down here. He's got this strange turtle thing that I've gone in here and done, but yeah. I can see the bad bit is actually right there. And so I can come in here and I can, I'm just going to make my brush smaller. Right click, select influence. If I smooth that, it's my smooth, my opacity's good. Okay, I might even do something like use add, and then I can go and take the opacity way, 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 way down and just slowly paint this area too. And then I'll have to go back and smooth it probably. Or I can use the component editor. I can do this a bunch of different ways. And I should only be doing one side of the character anyway, but whatever. So I'm good there. Get it up to about here, then I'll switch to smooth. And I'll turn that opacity back up, and I'll make my brush bigger. And sometimes I'll even just select the vertices here and just hit the flood button, and that'll actually smooth the vertices into place too. Okay, and anything I want to do down here, that's smooth. It's starting to act a little bit weird down there. I'm just going to go back to this neck piece. Okay, what about this one? This is going to take me a little while, and I may never be happy with it. Okay, and then I'm just going to right click in this and go assume preferred angle, and I missed. I grabbed the wrong joint. Assume preferred angle. There. So we'll say it's good enough for now. And how long is the video? 18 minutes. Okay, I'm going to stop and I'll... Oh, I forgot also to put the teeth in this. So if I take a look, I've got the teeth here. We'll leave the eyeballs alone. Grab the teeth and the head bone. I just deselected the body. And I'm going to go to skin, bind skin. And for these ones, instead of joint hierarchy, I'm going to go to selected joints. And since I've only got one joint selected, now you'll see that when I rotate the head joint around, the teeth will follow. Okay, and that's what you want. Boop. And when I actually grab the head joint, I'm probably going to be grabbing a controller for both these neck pieces at the same time, so I can kind of see, yeah, his head move around, and it looks a bit more natural, and this thing stays solid. Okay, that's it. I'm done for this video, and now I'll do the foot rig.